Hey, I'm Siobhan, and I love talking about all the things related to freedom and personal growth. And I'm on a journey to redefine freedom on my own terms as I become the woman I desire to be. Each week, I'll share in real time what I'm learning as I do my inner work while creating a safe space for my listeners to feel seen. If you desire to be free and live a life that feels good to you, then you're in the right place for beautiful conversations that's going to support you on your journey to freedom. Welcome to the Siobhan J. Middleton podcast. Now let's start the show. Hey, y'all. Welcome back to another episode. Oh my, it has been a very long time since I have connected with you. So much has happened and there's so much that I want to share, hence the reason that I'm ready to get back on the mic. I'm currently sitting in my closet in my apartment because this is the best place to record. So I'm glad that I found a space to do that. So I just kind of want to give you an update of where I'm at, what's been happening, what's going on. And we'll start with the obvious, the new cover of the podcast and the title of the podcast. So if you've been following me, and then you know that I am in the process of getting a divorce. And one of the things that I decided over the last several months is that I would go back to my maiden name. And it feels so right. It feels necessary as I am in this new chapter and season of my life. And a few days ago, I did some research on my name. So I always knew that my name, Siobhan, gracious, but I had never looked up my middle name and my last name. And so my middle name is Juanita, and I share it with my grandmother. And when I looked up the meaning of it, for the first time ever in life, it also means God is gracious. So my first name and my middle name mean the exact same thing. And growing up, I'll be honest, I didn't necessarily like my middle name because I feel like someone, a kid, or I don't know if this happened in my teenage years, like really can't remember, but teased me like, that's an ugly name, or that name doesn't fit with your first name, or something like that. And I then no longer liked it. And so I love that my grandmother and I share the same name, but because I was teased, and you know how kids can be, and then you start having these negative beliefs about your own name because somebody else put it in your head. And when I read it, I'm like, I love my name. I love my name. Siobhan Juanita is perfect. And then I looked up my maiden name, which is Middleton, and it means middle. And I was like, oh, this is so fitting because when you think about something in the middle is protected from the front and the back. And I immediately thought of protection. So it is fitting that I go back to the name that I was born with, which is Siobhan J. Middleton. And so that's why I decided to change the name of the podcast. And I'll give you some more insight around that in a little bit. And then as far as the new cover, y'all know this year is my year of transformation. And I am in an in-between stage. And I'm always taking photos of myself on my phone and things like that. And this photo in particular represents this in-between stage that I'm in. And I'm not ready to do a whole brand photo shoot like I normally do because I'm just not there yet. But this photo represents where I'm at. And because I didn't want to wait for perfection, like I'm really ready to get started right now, that is the new cover. And it's an in-between cover. And I love it. And I'm happy with it. And it speaks to where I'm at. And so that is a little bit about the name change and the cover change. And this in-between stage, I will tell you, it is quite an experience to say the least. As y'all know, I'm now settled into my new apartment. I've been here for several months. And when I tell y'all, I am in love with it. I am in awe. It feels amazing, like vibrationally, energetically. It feels really, really good for my spirit. And I've been having so much fun, like decorating and just finding the things that I like. I have a bohemian style that I have learned over time. And I've been watching YouTube videos and on Pinterest, like finding things that fit my style. And so that's my style is a bohemian style, but also with African print that I'm going to add to my home. So that has been exciting just to kind of find my style. And also, I'm working on a few new skills. Cooking is one of them. Recently, my friend bought me Tabitha Brown's new cookbook, which I love. I've been plant-based in the past, and so I also eat chicken and all the things, right? So adding more plant-based meals to my lifestyle is going to be really fun. So I'm excited about that. I've already made a lasagna from the cookbook that turned out really, really good. And another skill that I am working on is organization. I didn't have this skill before, but there's something about being in my own place where I want everything to be organized in a beautiful way. I think energetically it makes my home feel good. And so I love my new apartment. I love the neighborhood. I'm close to a lot of stores. So I literally can walk to Target in different places. So that has felt really good just to be close to everything. I love the neighborhood. Inside just feels so amazing. I recently bought a water fountain. At this time, I have 8 plants, which they feel really good. And it's just been fun. It's that part of just getting settled into the apartment has been fun. Now, there's also been some experiences that I wasn't expecting. Around the time when I first moved into my apartment, I just thought like, oh, I'm going to be so happy and so this and so that. And grief came right in. Grief came right in. And I'll talk about that in a minute because I don't want to skip ahead. I want to pause and say thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you to every single person in my community that has gifted me with things from my registry, whether it was the Amazon registry or the Target registry, which both links are still in the show notes. So if you're just now hearing this, you're like, oh, I wanted to get her something, but I didn't, or is there still time? There's always time to give an Amazon gift card because I can use all the things. So I'll leave those registries in the show notes. And if you ever feel like, oh yeah, I want to support in any kind of way, you can totally do that. But thank you, thank you, thank you so much for the gifts. You guys have made my home beautiful. So many amazing things from my community that just warmed my heart. And I didn't know how I was going to be supported, but I'm grateful for the support. And one of my members of the inner circle has said, you know, Siobhan, you pour out so much to us. Of course we can support you. And that felt good because to her point, like for years and years and years and years, I've given and given and given, you know, so much. And so the fact that my community and friends wanted to pour back into me, especially during this time of a major life transition, I am deeply grateful and always will be. So thank you for that. So let me go back to the grief part. Like I said, when I moved into the apartment, I expected my experience to be one way, but grief came right in. And grief of, you know, my life is completely different now. Like I had lived one way for basically half my life. And now I'm in a new neighborhood, a new apartment. I'm now adjusting to co-parenting, everything. Like it's a lot and it was intense. And yes, it is my choice to divorce my husband. And also there's grief in that because who I've been my whole life and now who I'm becoming is so unfamiliar. It is quite an experience. And so I have been processing and healing, and it probably will be a while, you know, with the grief and also allowing joy and bliss to come in. And I believe in duality, like you can have both, but there's intentional work that you have to do. And so I'm not rushing away from the grief. It is a part of my experience. And allowing it to come in while I'm also enjoying my life and parts of my life that I've always desired, that is a process in itself. And so, one of the reasons why I wanted to get back to podcasting is when I sent out a newsletter a little bit ago, and then even when I'm out and about and I run into someone or people have sent me DMs and emails and things of that nature, there are so many women, many women that are in a similar space. And whether they're contemplating or going through a divorce or a major life transition and they don't know which way to go, or they don't have the support or the community or the clarity, and they just need something. And I get it. I remember I was listening to some podcasts a bit ago, and I've been listening to a lot of podcasts around divorce and, different things like that. And I'm like, where's the voice for the Black community? And I don't know, I'm sure that there's podcasts out there, but speaking the way that I speak, where is that content? Where's that content? And it's like, Siobhan, whenever you start having these types of feelings, you need to create what you wish existed. And no, I'm not trying to be the voice of divorce or anything like that. That's not what I'm saying. But I do want to share my process and my healing and my transformation and my growth in real time to be an inspiration to someone else, to be encouragement, to help you find your way. I believe that my purpose here on this earth is to be a light and empower others to be free. And there is something about sharing and expressing that helps other people feel seen. And it's just in me like, oh, when you share this, it could help somebody else. And so when I get on this mic each week, number one, it will always be for me to heal, because that is helpful for me. It is my way of sharing and connecting. But also, if someone just needs some inspiration to keep going, continue to listen. I'm sharing in real time my healing journey, my process, as I am learning how to redefine freedom. Because in my mind, I had this way of thinking about freedom. And as I've been doing a lot of inner work over the last several months, I'm redefining what that looks like. Freedom looks completely different. And I'm going to do a whole nother podcast on that topic specifically. But I just want to give a little bit of clarity as you listen week to week. I'm going to share my process in real time, because I think that's helpful versus, how people will, they'll go through whatever they're going through and then you hear about it years later and you're like, man, but how did it feel when you were actually going through it? What was your process? And no, everything that I share is not going to work for you, but at least you have something, right? And if it works, great. And if it doesn't, that's fine as well. So I'll be sharing my journey in real time. I'll be bringing on guests to have conversations on what it looks like to redefine freedom and to live a free life. I'll be sharing things that just light me up inside, and whatever else is to come. I'm not really sure, but that's what I know in this moment. A couple of other things that I want to talk about is over the summer, I decided to close the Be Free Inner Circle, which was my community, a virtual community where I supported Black women on their personal growth journey. And as I was deep in emotional pain, I really didn't have the capacity to pour into the community like I wanted to and thought I could, I guess. And as I was taking time away from the community, one day I was on a walk and it hit me that it's time to end it. And because there was no desire to get back in there. And because I knew so much of my life was shifting, I was no longer the same person that I was when I started it. And so I made the executive decision to close the Be Free Inner Circle. And once I did it, there was this feeling of like it just felt like the right thing to do. And also in that, when I was on my walk, One day, God clearly said to me, it's time to dream a new dream. It is time to dream a new dream. And I'm like, what is that? And I knew that I had done my part with the Be Free Inner Circle, but also it was time to end the Be Free Project. And I didn't know that this was going to make me emotional, but I have poured my heart into my work since the time that I started my company in February of 2014. And I have done everything that I could. And I love the work that I've done. I love the lives I've got to change. I loved what I've been able to create and to do. And God keeps saying it's time to dream a new dream. And I remember when I was living in my house, I kept having this feeling of you've reached the ceiling. You've grown as far as you can grow personally and in your business in this home. And then when I was on my walk and God said it's time to dream a new dream. Yes, you are transforming your personal life, but you're also transforming your business. And it's time to start new. And so I'm ending or have ended the Be Free Project as well as the Be Free Inner Circle. And I'm starting over. And I'm starting over under Siobhan J. Middleton. And it's because Spirit has been nudging me to get started. And so one way that I'm getting started is sharing my process on my podcast. But also I'm starting fresh. And I'm a little bit scared, but also I'm excited about what's to come. And there's a lot of things I don't know yet. I've been asked, are you going to host events again? Yes, definitely, because that is where I thrive most, is hosting, events. So that is something I know that's definite, but everything else I'm not quite sure yet. And I'm okay with not knowing. And I'm starting over. I'm starting over at the age of 42 with walking away from things that no longer serve me or light me up, and finding joy and finding bliss and redefining freedom for myself. And that's where I'm at today. There's a lot of healing that I'm doing, a lot of therapy, a lot of processing. And honestly, today, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good. And I just want to be able, again, to share my experiences, how I'm redefining freedom for myself. I want to share that with you as I heal, because talking and sharing and expressing myself is definitely helpful for my healing and growth journey. And I know that there are women who can relate that are going through a transition in their life, whatever transition. And I am here to offer you support. I am here to share and express. And I hope you continue to follow along on this journey with me that honestly, I don't have all the answers to quite yet. And I'm okay with that. And so thank you for having patience with me. Thank you for all the love that I've received. Make sure you're subscribed to the podcast. Make sure you share the podcast with a friend or two. Share it on IG stories. That's where I hang out. And I'm just sending you so much love and light. And as always, if my work inspires or encourages you in any kind of way, you can treat me to a cup of coffee. That link as well will always be in the show notes. And I just want to send you so much love and light. And I will see you next time.